Ladies and gentlemen, we'll call the meeting to order at 1:30. Right on the mark there. Thank you very much, staff, for being with us today. Council, the regular meeting of Wednesday, September 3rd. Meeting's called to order. Before we begin, I'll give a land acknowledgement. We begin this gathering by acknowledging that the land upon which we meet is a traditional territory of First Nations people who have a long-standing relationship with the land, water, and regions of Southwest Middlesex. The nations along the banks of the Thames include the Chippewa of the Thames, Oneida Nations of the Thames, Munsee Delaware Nation, and Delaware Nation of Moraviantown. We convey our respect to our Indigenous neighbors and thank them for their contributions to our culture, community, our past, and partnerships in the future. Denise, I know that it is not in your job function, but could you please give me a glass of water?
Of course I can.
Thank you very much. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Is there any member of council declaring an interest or the general nature thereof on any subject? None have been received. The agenda has been circulated to council to you. I require a confirmation of the agenda if it meets your approval. Are there any errors or additions? None? Moved by Councilor Emery. Second for that, Councilor Gill. All in favor? Carried. Agenda is adopted. Delegations and presentations, we'll move into that. Middlesex Warden Brian Rupp and Chief Administrator Officer Paul Shipway, we're very pleased to have you with us, gentlemen. Please make yourself comfortable. We're going to waive our time limit a little bit today in the interest of getting more money out of you. So we'll let you begin.
Hi, thank you, Mayor and Council, as well as staff, for the opportunity to come here today to speak to you. First order of business, I believe, is not everyone knows our new CAO, Paul Shipway. Paul's been with the county since 23, and doing the job here as our new CAO. So at this time, I would let Paul start whenever you are ready for the presentation, and we'll get right into it.
Oh no, yes, I'll echo the warden's statements. We're very pleased to be here. Thank you very much for having us as we get on our fall local council update tour. Looking forward to the discussion towards the end of this. I'll skip the agenda and maybe just start off with organizational updates, if that's okay. I'm not sure how to
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I would just say, obviously, 2025 has been a year of transition for Middlesex County. Our former CAO transitioned out of the role, and we've done some organizational realignment recently, breaking up the community services portfolio into two designated portfolios for finance and human services formerly social services. And the thought process behind that is just to continue to adapt the environment in which we operate in. When we enhance our finances, we can enhance all of our service areas, and County Council has made it a key priority to continue to enhance human services and focus on that sphere of jurisdiction. So we've made those changes, and from an administrative perspective, going through this recruitment process and meeting with all members of council, our goal really is to enhance the relationships on an administrative level that we have with our local municipalities. We have a great slate of local CAOs here, Amanda obviously included in that. And we're looking forward to continuing to enhance those relationships and deliver the county services to all of our residents. And then from a representative perspective, we've also went through a comprehensive strategic plan update process. So there's a significant amount of public engagement, and then also some working sessions at the county level. And ultimately that landed on an updated 2025 to 2030 strategic plan with 4 strategic priorities: economic development, collaboration and partnership, sustainable infrastructure development, and adaptability and agility. I think it's a great plan rounded in shared perspectives of both elected officials, staff, and the community. And I think the key one that we've touched on so far is economic development. We went through a process where we've identified that our assessment base at the county level is largely reliant on residential and agricultural assessment. And we're looking at what we can do to maintain our unique characteristics and our heritage of being an agricultural small rural community, while also diversifying that tax base to get a bit more industry and industrial assessment and commercial assessment. So we're going through that process and looking forward to working collaboratively because also ultimately the local municipalities pull the levers on that with water and wastewater servicing and land use designations. Collaboration and partnerships, I think I touched on in the opening about how we want to function as an administration, really just asking as a county how and what we can do better and hear from all perspectives on how we do that. Infrastructure, we're very lucky across Ontario. We have some of the best rated roads and bridges, and we're going to continue to look at that to see how we can deliver that high quality of infrastructure with the best investment at the right time. And then adaptability and agility is constantly assessing how we do things and ensuring that changes to the landscape in which we operate in. So that's a high level overview of the strategic plan, and I'd encourage you to have a look at it some evening when you're trying to fall asleep. We changed the order of slides, so I think next up is the Community Improvement Support Plan. We just considered this at County Council at our last meeting, and it'll get formally approved when the minutes are adopted next week. But we're pretty excited about this program. This is one of the tangible ways in which we can support local municipalities. So most municipalities have a community improvement plan or will be putting those in place. This program has existed for a long time, but really focused on facade and accessibility improvements. What County Council has done is taken the leadership to say, let's establish 2 other tranches, industrial and commercial development and housing related development. And it allows each local municipality to focus their CIP, community improvement plan, on what helps their community the best. And the County Council will fund up to 50% of each project to a maximum of $25,000 per project, subject to the budget that's allocated at the county level. But effectively what we're trying to do is augment and enhance the local funding you have to allow you to have further reach and continue to do those improvements within your community. So we're pretty excited about this, and formal correspondence will come out on this likely Wednesday of next week, but we really think this is a tangible way to make a difference within the community. OPA number 4, so as I'm sure you're aware intimately, the planning regime in Ontario continues to advance provincially at a rapid pace. So one of the things we're doing as a county is doing our comprehensive official plan amendment to address those. Right now, we've completed our internal process through the Planning Advisory Committee to identify key agricultural, economic, housing, and growth policies. The draft plan has been submitted to the province in July in accordance with how we have to go to get approval and consideration and comment. We'll roll out this fall, and we're already starting at a staff level comprehensive engagement with our local municipalities to get feedback on that before it is ultimately considered to the statutory process. So we're hopeful by year end we have considered that amendment, and the province sees it well and we get it in place, because we know being held up at the province and OLT can have a detrimental effect on housing and growth generally. So we're looking forward to that process, and we appreciate your feedback and consideration in advance. The next one, just a strategic plan as well. We're proud of our libraries and the services they deliver in our communities with early on and children's service integrated. They've also done an updated strategic plan for 2025 to 2029, and that just more focuses directly on the services the library provides directly. And as we go forward in the 2026 budget, we'll also be doing a master planning exercise to really map out what library services looks like 25 years into the future in regards to facilities and how services are offered. So keep an eye out for that, and it's just pretty exciting generally what library services offers to us. Asset management, I won't dwell on this too long. Everyone has to do an asset management plan, but we really just completed our first comprehensive plan covering all of our asset categories. And we'll touch on forests in a minute, but it drove home that the county's in a fortunate position thanks to the leadership of past council and really our transportation staff and MLPS infrastructure, that there's been an appropriate investment in that. So we have a small gap to close to be fully funded, and we may be able to do that just by changing some asset life cycle timelines. So we're very pleased about that, and it allows county council to really look at those levels of service. So we're pleased with that. And we just want to point out with the asset management plan, our team rolled out a ton of dashboards where you can assess the underlying data like road condition, bridge condition, and then facility condition indexes as well. So it's really a whole suite of data that's there for those who want to do a deeper dive into that. Next up, we have forestry. And this is one that in strategic initiatives I had the opportunity to dive into with Mark and the planning staff. And it's something we just wanted to point out as we were going around to local municipalities, as Southwest Middlesex knows well. There's a ton of county forest tracts out this way. And our county forests deliver a significant amount of both recreational and economic value to the county. So we're updating our county forest management plan, and we're also looking at trying to quantify economically and financially the value of those natural assets, how much carbon they capture, what they contribute to tourism. So there'll be a forthcoming plan on that, and there may be components to look at ways in the future how we can continue to expand and increase our county forest footprint because of the value they provide to our community. So we just want to touch on that and highlight the great work the team does in the forestry and planning divisions there. Lastly, this couple of months ago, really, the county embarked on the final stages of what's considered part of the decentralization strategy with the new governance and administration building. So construction is underway. There's a new project website for it on the county website, and county council will be getting quarterly, I don't want to say quarterly, but frequent updates on the construction process and how that project is advancing. But it will be a purpose-built 1,800 square foot facility located on the campus with MLPS. And it'll enhance accessibility, efficiency, and really focus on providing modern, flexible governance and administration center. So that's live, and the target occupancy date for that is November 2026. So I know Mr. Trainee and the team have an interesting concept of our final council meeting of this term and our first council meeting of next term. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and with some great project management, everything will stay on track and we'll get in there as expected. So we obviously want to highlight that and speak about the county webpage. And then last but not least, it is Middlesex County's 225th anniversary. And we've been trying to find ways, the legislative services team really, I can't take any credit for it, to celebrate and mark this anniversary. It's a big deal to have been around that long. And we've kicked that off with free tree giveaways. There's a Warden for a Day contest where high school students can submit submissions to see, and then we'll have someone get to spend the time with the Warden for the day. My personal favorite is the Warden coloring sheets, where people can color pictures of the Warden. So we're doing that, and then also at each county council meeting, we're highlighting fun facts about the history of Middlesex County, with the first county road system being initiated in, I think, 1853, but don't hold me to that date. And we'll continue to do other items throughout the year to celebrate the 225th anniversary.
If your grandpa was there.
Yeah, so we're excited about that, and we want to highlight it, but I think the most important thing about getting out to see our all the local councils is the opportunity to have discussions, continue the discussions that happen throughout the year. So the Ward and I are here to answer any questions and take things back if you'd like further discussion on it. And I think I just wanted to conclude by saying thank you again so much for having us out here today. We really appreciate the opportunity.
I would just add that I think the plan going forward is with Paul to be more in contact on meeting with the local CAOs more often and being a part of that group to help the conversation and communications.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Brian, Paul, we appreciate your attendance here. There will be some questions from the horseshoe, and let's start it off right now. Please raise your hand. Yes, Councilor Bink.
Thank you, Mayor Al, to Brian and Paul. I live in the rural area, so I have a couple questions as far as rural areas. Pragmatics has been a problem for a long time. Allegheny County, they sprayed their pragmatics and get a contractor. I would like to see the county look into that. And also, in some areas you have big curves on the highway. I'm thinking in the Warsaw area. I believe when they cut the grass, they only cut one cut on the road, and I think they should be two. So those are my points.
Thank you. Paul, we'll take that back. I don't think it would be prudent to have a response today, but those will be decisions of administration and council together. But we'll see. I'm sure Paul will be back beyond that. Any further questions? Good point. So, yes, Deputy Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. This is a question for both. Under the Community Improvement Support Program, we've got housing-related development, and I'm just wondering what would be an acceptable application. If you could just speak a little bit more on that.
Certainly, through Mr. Mayor. We appreciate the question. I think when we send the full policy and plan, it'll give more context. But really what we're trying to do is support the entire continuum of housing. So sometimes a local CIP will have incentives for attainable or affordable housing where there may be some waiver of fees or permits or a tax incremental financing grant where over time that assessment will increase versus having the whole jump at once. So it really depends on what the local incentive is, but any of those theoretically would be eligible under the program. And it really ties back to the Middlesex County Attainable Housing Study to try to hit some of those, not missing middle, but missing components of the housing continuum in Middlesex County to try to reach, make housing a reality for all of our community.
That's great, thank you.
Good, continue on. I think Paul's got an answer for almost every question. Okay, go ahead.
Just one, not really a question, just wanted to make sure it was on your radar. In 2018, lights at Thames Road and London and Haggerty Road and Longwoods Road, both had the red lights removed when turbines come through, and they were never put back in place. And I think they should be.
See, Mr. Mayor, sorry, could you just say that one more time, the two intersections? I just want to make sure I got it right.
Longwoods Road and Haggerty Road
Yep.
in Wardsville, and Thames Road and London Drive in Avon.
Thank you.
Can I ask, has there been any other traffic calming or anything else put in place of that?
Yes, there was.
Oversized.
Mayor May, you can speak to this. He's
Yeah.
instrumental in the large.
They were larger stop signs. Instead of 4x4 posts, there were 6x6 posts put up, and larger stop signs, more reflectivity, and it helps to a large degree. But the lighting would certainly, it's a cost-effective fix to have flashing red and flashing amber. So yeah, if we get a flashing red in the north-south direction and the amber in the east-west, I think it would be.
And I think, Mayor, we've talked about this
Yeah, we have.
more than once at county council. Maybe that's an issue to bring up.
Yeah.
That is a council issue to bring up, for sure.
Okay, any further questions? Yes, Councilor May.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I had a question from a ratepayer the other day. I'm not sure if this is a question for Amanda or for you, not all, but anyway, second residences on properties. What is the official policy now?
Through Mr. Mayor, we're actually going through this at a county level as part of the OP process, and I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know off the top of my head about the Southwest Middlesex, but we're going through it as a process to establish that, and I think for specifics I defer to you, but also allow us to get back from planning.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Thank you, Paul, through you, Mayor, to Councilor May. The answer for Southwest Middlesex specifically is actually quite the same as the county. As you know, the province has changed the requirements around additional residential units, and they are permitted in many cases. So we can certainly answer any specific questions on any specific properties. If you have any, we're happy to review them and provide a planning response. And we will share with council the policy updates required as part of that provincial update process. Also here shortly, we're working on that right now.
If they don't change it on us again.
We hope.
I would say to council especially, I know that I find the planning is changing so much and so quickly that it's hard to keep up. And I know I really depend on our planners and stuff to sort through that because it was coming through very rapidly and it is tough to catch up.
The mayor can take the pleasure of a few questions. I had one on safety, forestry, and library services. Safety, I understand the 911 signs are changing. And I think both our electorate and our council would like to know the reasons behind that and what we can expect in changing the 911 addresses on municipal lots, county residences, and parks.
Sure, through you, Mr. Mayor, I think it was 2 meetings ago at County Council, Mr. Elston and the GIS team came and they did a presentation, and there's 2 components to it really. Next Gen 911 which just changes to a system that's more GIS enabled so that first responders and emergency service providers can get to the location more efficiently. So our GIS team is working through that process. The province keeps delaying implementation of that. It was originally supposed to be 2025 and it's been pushed. The other component, which I think you're referencing relating to civic addressing, pertains more to my understanding the front end. So if someone's on a road, they don't necessarily know where it is, they see a 911 sign currently, and it's just a number, and they have to guess the road maybe. Civic addressing, 911 signs, civic addressing signs, the guidelines for how those were established was originally in 1994, and it hasn't been updated. So now when new signs are put in place or existing signs are replaced, the road name is added underneath the 911 numbers. So that's the change in process. And I know I spoke offline with your CAO about this as well. We're going to follow up with a bit more of the background on that, but I do believe it's more the front end from someone calling in something so they know what road they're on in the event they don't have service or don't know the road. But that is the change in process. It's only for new signs, and on a replacement process, it's not retroactive to every existing 911 sign.
Okay, if there's questions about that. Yes, Mark, and then I'll go back to my other two questions.
Yeah, just wanted to ask a question about fiber optic. I think that was the number one thing that people wanted in Southwest Middlesex, is they wanted faster internet. And we're getting that now, and I believe that's because there's federal funding for that. I know our municipality, people ask me this, we didn't put any money into it. The county probably didn't put any into it either.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think we would say we are members of SWIFT, which the county has contributed to financially, which is an organization, Southwest Integrated Fiber, something to that effect. I apologize, I don't know the acronym off the top of my head, but we are a member of that works to basically augment and get service providers to install fiber in communities. And I know our director of ITS, Mr. Chris Bailey, has worked closely with that and bringing agreements in. But I wouldn't be able to speak off the top of my head to specific service providers out here. But if you'd like, I'd be happy to report back on that.
Well, I guess my question was, and this is, maybe you don't know the answer to this, but how much has the federal government spent in Middlesex County on high-speed internet? How much has who spent? The government, federal government, on high-speed internet.
They've never said the amount they've got for a grant. I'm sure it's not a small grant because they've been in North Middlesex, Middlesex Center, Southwest Middlesex. And I was caught by surprise by them as well, as I'm sure the mayor here was. But I don't have a number on it. They've never given us the number.
Huge. Yeah. Good, thank you. Councilor Gill. The other two questions, one on forestry, one on library. Forestry, it's in your long-range plans. I'd like to bring up the issue of logging. That's a revenue provider on that. And it's also a vehicle to attain a healthier forest. So I hope in your conclusions and your talk with Mr. Brown on that logging comes in and it's done in a responsible manner. And I look forward to seeing some revenues out of the tracts of forestry that we have through a logging process.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, absolutely. I think one of the forestry management plan is really to support responsible harvesting within the forest. And something we did this year was we utilized, the county, Mark and the team, we utilized a service called iTree. And what they've been able to do is go out and quantify through GIS, like a very detailed composition of what makes up the county forest and each county forest tract. So it allows our forest management plan and selective harvesting to be even more fine-tuned to ensure that we have the optimal health in our forest. So I'm really excited, especially for you, Mayor Mayhew, I know at the county council level, really has attention to detail on our forestry management information for when that plan comes forward. I think it's going to provide great value to the county and the county forests.
Thank you very much. And my last question, gentlemen, in regards to the library services. I know it's a goal of Middlesex County to create a liaison with all their municipalities, a relationship, so to speak. And in addition to that, better exposure as to who we are and where we are and what we are. I'm looking at the community library representative. How are those individuals chosen? What is their responsibility? And if I look at it from a historical perspective, I don't believe we've had a report or a delegation from our representative in Southwest Middlesex since I've been on council, unless, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we have. And I think it is a very important building block to magnify the stature of our library, the benefits of our library, but there seems to be a breach in communication. How are they chosen, and what is their responsibility?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, is that for, just so we're on the same page, the library board, right?
Yes, the library board, community representatives.
Yeah, I'm happy to put that all together in a report with full terms of reference and send it out to you. To be honest, I wasn't here during this election this term, but I'll come back to you with a formal written response on all that, okay?
Yeah. And do the individual municipalities have a say or some input into who their representative might be?
Thank you.
Like we have individuals in our community that just live and breathe for the library. You know, they're there every day, you know, they're following up, they're assisting, they're volunteering. And, you know, an individual like that may make a better representative in the future. Thank you for that. Okay.
I think, Mayor, if I may, that's a great point to that. I believe they've just been, people have put their names in and selected in the past, but that's a great point to make it, and to bring that information back to the local municipalities.
I do, when you look at the investment and the change of the comprehensive footprint, I think it's exceptionally important. Okay, last call for questions. Well, listen, I want to thank you very much. I'm at the point now in my political career that I'm looking down the road, and everything I do now is one more time. And I started jotting down some of the joys I've had as a mayor. And one of them is my association with Middlesex County has been a blast, bar none. I just enjoy going to Middlesex County. Every individual in that horseshoe is just stellar. I enjoy the camaraderie. I enjoy the knowledge I gain, and you know, I bring that back to our horseshoe as often as I can. But, thank you very much. We appreciate your attendance, and we wish you both well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Kind words, thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on, Council. Number 5, the consent agenda. Well, before we do that, before we go on, let's receive the county's report for information. Is there a motion to that effect? Okay, thank you, Councilor Collins. Second for that, Councilor Gill. Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. Consent agenda. I'll read these out, and there should be no concern on them. It's pretty easy. This is, I think, the first real light agenda we've had. I appreciate it. Good way to start the beginning of fall. Draft minutes of the regular meeting, August 13th, 2025. Brook Alphiston Fire Committee minutes, May 1st, 2025. If there's no errors or omissions in those, I'll entertain a motion to accept the material in the consent agenda. Councillor Vink, Councillor Haggett, all in favor? It's carried. Committee of Adjustment number 6. I have not been advised that there is anything. Public meeting, there is none. Number 8, staff reports. Chief Administrative Officer, if you would like to walk council through this, I'd appreciate it.
Certainly, through you, Mayor Mayhew, to Council. So before you is an updated report proposed for the 2026 budget planning process under the Strong Mayor Power legislation. As you can recall, a similar report was presented at our previous council meeting. This report does have no large changes as a result of the previous comments submitted by council. But it does reaffirm once again the intent of the mayor to consult with council, while also ensuring that legislative requirements are met. To be clear, under legislation, the mayor must propose a budget by February 1st in municipalities that have received strong mayor powers, and the responsibility cannot be delegated by the mayor to either council or to staff. That is why this approach has been outlined in consultation with the mayor to ensure it is collaborative and seeks council and staff and public input into the process. As noted previously, council and the public will be engaged in the fall through surveys and the regular council grant application process, and staff input will be utilized throughout the process as well. The calendar and meeting schedule outlined in the report is intended to support adoption of the budget in January, ensuring that the municipality can pursue purchasing and obtain best prices through procurement, that kind of thing. So the recommendation is before you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Amanda. Mayor, I just have one for Ms. Hall. Ms. Hall. I'll open the floor up to any questions on this. Councilman Gill.
Yeah, so at our last meeting, there was a motion about starting the budget process, and it was defeated. So how do we get that process started again now?
Thank you, Councilor McGill, and through Deputy Mayor to you. So this report is similar to the last report, and you'll note that the recommendation, although is to proceed with the budget process without any delay, and the recommendation is to receive and file. So as the budget process is led by the mayor, formal approval of council of the process was something we were seeking to gain a team-based approach. But in order to kickstart the budget process today, Councillor McGill, all that is needed is for their recommendation that is presented to be approved, which is to receive and file the budget planning process as presented.
Okay, thank you for that presentation. Mike, thanks for taking that gavel for a short period of time there. Yes, I appreciate Amanda bringing that back to the worksheet. I think the wording is better this time. I think the understanding will be easier. And I've given assurances in the past that this will be a very open and council-included effort. And believe me, I will be asking every councillor what their vision is, what their feelings are towards the disbursement of the funds, tax collected. And this will be a very inclusionary process, I can assure you. I know there are some mayors in Ontario that will use this authority to the extreme, but I am not one of them. And thank you again, Amanda. The recommendation is before you. Are there any questions? Yes, go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Questions for Amanda. I'm just wondering on the community grants, this year the schedule looks a little stepped up from previous years, and are people aware that they need to have their community grant applications in time? I'm just wondering on the scheduling for that. I think there would be a bit of confusion in years past.
Thank you, through you, Mayor, to Deputy Mayor. So I'm just pulling up the schedule here. So this schedule is a bit earlier than we've provided in the past. So last year, I recall, we released council grant applications in November, but our budget process, as you know, was overall delayed from years previous. So we will be completing a notice of all of our grant recipients to advise that the application process is open and that an application is required in line with our policy. So we will ensure that that notification is provided to everyone when the process opens up this year.
Did they get contacted directly, or is this just something we put on the website? Or?
So in the past, I don't believe we've contacted them directly. This year, that was my intent, was to send a direct notice as well as the public notice, which would be on our website and social media. And the rationale behind that is in part because we have seen some past awards that are issued in non-compliance with our policy, so in areas where we have not received an application, People have just received funds continually. So to be compliant with our policy, we want to make sure everyone knows the requirement is to submit an application. That's why we would make the extra step of reaching out directly.
And further to that, we must remember that these are largely the volunteer community, and we certainly want to build that relationship with them. And I'm pleased we'll make those notifications directly to them, and we'll certainly market it through our website too. Any further questions? Okay, thank you. Is there a second for that? Councillor Myers, I saw Ed's hand first. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Denise, you'll have to really get to work now.
Look forward to it.
I know, you're up to it, I know you are. Staff,
I have one more question on that. What about the ones that forgot to notify last year?
I don't think it's retroactive, but I'll let the CAO.
Thank you, Mayor, through you to Councillor Dink. So there wasn't a forgetfulness of notification. We followed our regular notification protocol for council grants, which is website, social media, and in our newsletter. So in the past, I don't believe we have a practice of directly notifying all grant recipients, which we will do so this year. So we didn't miss anything. That was our previous standard. We are augmenting our standard this year to ensure that we notify everyone of the opportunity to apply.
So, just a follow-up. So in other words, someone that got it 2 years ago will be notified?
Everyone will be notified.
Yes.
Okay, CAO Amanda, 8.2, could you lead council through this?
Yes, through you, Mayor, to council. So on behalf of the clerk who's absent today, I'm happy to present the report on the Community School Alliance Agreement. As you may or may not know, the municipality does have an agreement with the Community School Alliance, where the municipality of Southwest Middlesex provides administrative support to this community group. Our agreement with them for the administrative support only does actually ended in 2023. It's been on our radar, but something we've been reviewing internally for a while. We have not been contacted by Community School Alliance to negotiate any extension or anything. And our review internally of the amount of hours and time spent to support the group does show that it is above, the cost is above the existing remuneration in the administrative agreement itself. So for various reasons, staff are recommending, in part because there's currently not a counselor from Southwest Middlesex who sits on the Community School Alliance board. The time and resource demands of the administration do outweigh the financial benefits to the municipality. And you know, this is a group made up of many communities. Us stepping away from the administrative portion would allow another community to engage in those efforts and fill that role. We are not recommending that we leave the school community alliance at all, just that we provide an opportunity for someone else to provide the administrative support services. So that is the recommendation before council, which is to receive and file the report, and that we issue notice to the Community School Alliance advising that we'd like to move on from the administrative services agreement, which did expire over 2 years ago almost, or 2 years ago, and provide them appropriate notice so that they can ensure they have another representative from the group who maybe has a council member on the committee who would provide administrative support. So that's the recommendation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Amanda, very much for that. Council, we'll entertain questions to the chair, to Amanda. Are there any? Yes, Deputy Mayor Schultes.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I believe that supporting the Community Schools Alliance in an effort to safeguard our local schools from closure is a core municipal responsibility. Many before us have fought long and hard to keep our schools open, and we know that the province has already stepped in and taken over some boards. Therefore, I'll move that we maintain our administrative agreement with the Community Schools Alliance, so that when the 2017 moratorium on school closures is lifted, we are ready with a strong voice.
Okay, thank you. We can, if there's a seconder for that motion, we can have lots of discussion on it, okay? Councillor Myers, thank you very much for seconding that motion. Again, the invitation for questions and discussion are open. Yeah. Councillor Emery, please go ahead.
Through you, Mayor Mayhew, I had a long conversation with Doug Raycraft, who is actually the chair of this committee. And he's very appreciative of the administrative responsibilities that we provide to them. It's, he says it's very critical. He has a great fear with this moratorium being lifted very soon, and feels in our community that we could be at a risk of losing our school. What he asked me to ask was, could we defer this motion? And he would really like to come and talk to council and explain this and move ahead then.
I think the subject has been moved and seconded, and council could come to a resolution that would favor Mr. Raycraft's remarks today. That does not negate Mr. Raycraft from coming to talk to us about the Community School Alliance and showing his appreciation. So we can, you know, I think the intent of the mover and the seconder was to clean this up today. And that invitation, the mayor will personally invite Raycraft to submit a delegation with front staff, and we look forward to his presence and he can give us an update. Further to that, there's 5 schools in Ontario under the administration of the province of Ontario. They include both Protestant and Catholic ones. And recently, there has been a talk from the Ministry of Education to do away with elected trustees. And we are very fortunate to have Arlene Morel as a trustee. She is a real advocate for real education. And I don't want to use the word distrust, but there are signs that the province of Ontario could have a heavy hand in administering what is going on in the educational footprint, including Southwest Middlesex. And it's not just our high school under threat. It could be Moses Central School was under threat too. And that's a very good school, and with new subdivisions that will be coming perhaps to Wardsville, there could be an increase in student population at the school if that materializes the way we hope it will. So I am in favor of the motion that's been levied, and further to that, I can advise council that I will ask Doug to give a presentation. And further to that, I think the contract has to be rewritten a little more carefully. Okay, we'll have to examine costs in that contract, and that contract will come back to council. And I'm not sure what the financial position of the Community School Alliance. I do attend the meetings. I'm not a member of the board, but I do attend all the virtual meetings. At Roma, they often have a meeting at Roma, and I always make sure that I do that as well. And so Southwest Middlesex does have a voice. And on an annual basis of the community planning, I also attend and raise submissions to the Board of Education into planning policies. And I have advised them of the potential growth that Southwest Middlesex will be seeing, and that we think that will add to increased student numbers in our schools. Any questions regarding the motion?
Can I just
Yes.
read that motion?
So received for information, and that Southwest Middlesex continues administrative support at least until like this.
Would the mover and seconder have any objection to including in that motion that the document be reviewed, that the contract be renewed, and staff look at ways to better foster more positive relationship financially and materially. Do you have any objections?
Not at all, I should have included that.
Okay. Ed, you okay with that? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. I just want to clarify that last addition. Does that mean that we would like staff to renew the contract but work towards cost recovery?
I think we can get closer to cost recovery. Okay, I don't know if we're full cost recovery, but we may get closer to cost recovery. Is what I
There's
envision.
volunteers on there, so I don't know how much money there is to go around.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I think, I know we're very bound to make corporate decisions on profit and loss, but I think optics are important, and I think pulling away from that, I think the optics would look somewhat concerning to the public, not only on council, but even on staff. I think we have to continue to show our support, but it has to be formulated in the real world, and closer to cost recovery has to be part of the subject. Okay, chair's going to call the question. All in favor? Passed unanimously. Okay, moving on. Uh, 822, social media update. And Amanda, are you giving this?
Yes, thank you through you, Mayor, to council. As you may recall, council did direct staff in October of 2024 to review the social media policy in this year, 2025. We had done that. That's what this report is a result of. So the purpose of this report is to provide a revised policy that strengthens oversight, sets clear expectations for council staff and volunteers, and reduces reputational and legal risks by shifting to a one-way communication model, which does match the practices we have now. So it just formalizes it in a policy. So the key changes are that the control and access permissions are centralized under the CAO and clerk. There used to be multiple access points throughout the corporation. It applies to personal and official use by council staff and volunteers. Disables comments on municipal posts, but allows staff to respond where necessary, and includes clear standards around content, privacy, and records retention. Adopting this updated policy ensures consistency, professionalism, and responsible use of social media across the organization. So again, presenting on behalf of our clerk, who's absent today, but happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Amanda. Invitation has been extended to council. Are there questions? Yep. Councilor Scholz, or Deputy Mayor Scholz.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I'd just like to thank staff for the report. I asked for it, very detailed, and I'll move the recommendation.
Okay, is there a second? Councilor Haggett? Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you, Amanda. Okay, moving on to 8.3, finance. At this time, there's none. Forward to that down the way. Public Works, none. At this time, Community Service and Facilities, there's none. Fire, there is none. Building, there is none. Planning, there is none. That's pretty simple run there, eh? Notice of motion, I have not been advised of any. Correspondence and petitions, none. Unfinished business, Amanda, I don't believe there's any.
No.
New business, items removed from the consent agenda, none. County Council and Conference updates. I just want to thank Council for very good questioning with Warren Roth and Paul Shipway. Those questions were extremely welcomed and well thought of. Announcements, any announcements on councilors? Seeing none, I got one. I hear our deputy mayor has had a birthday recently. So yesterday, I think probably, yeah.
30th, actually.
Yeah, 30th though. I thought you said you were 30 years old, but but we know better than that. But anyway, Mike, we, on behalf of council, administration, and staff, we wish you a happy birthday there.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Closed session pursuant to section,
Mayor Allen?
yes? Oh, yes, go ahead, yes, thanks.
Through you, Mayor Allen, just wanted to remind council that Saturday evening from 4 to 8 is the block party in Wardsville. And they have a live band, they will have a zoo there, face painter, clown, and there will be food available served by the Lions Club. Last year it was quite well attended, and the new playground is very much appreciated.
Good, that was good, that's a great announcement, okay? Put that in our calendars. Okay, anything else? I think we can move on then. Closed session, council, the chair asks your consideration to enter into closed. Pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001, a regular council meeting of Southwest Middlesex temporarily adjourned at 2:22 to permit the holding of a meeting in closed session for the purposes of draft closed meeting minutes, position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on, and a position, plan, procedure, criteria, instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on. Is there a mover and a seconder for that, please? Councilor Emery, seconder, Councilor Myers, all in favor? Carried. We'll allow Colleen to look after the